Oh,
Welcome to the Aegis Cheese podcast, our first live episode for the major. I am Fourbeats, joined by Benjamin and special guest Neff.
hello.
Hello, it's nice to be here. We set this one up, I think, slightly ahead of time just for Empyrean's sake. So shout out to Empyrean if he's here.
Yeah,
Is he here?
huge shout out. All right, we're gonna start with the group stage. We're gonna get right into it. Full steam ahead. Well, I guess I'll ask you first, Neff. What were your first impressions? Just initial impressions on the group stage as a whole.
Okay, first impression of the group stage was I thought Beast Coast would make it into the maybe not upper bracket, but like top of the lower bracket, like as far as standings go. They got eliminated here. I would like to immediately call out WePlay for switching around the schedule as on Beast Coast. They had to play 2 games in a row, 2 days in a row. Not only that, but 14 hours before they had to play on day number 2, they suddenly found out they have to play against Evil Geniuses first rather than, what was it, TNC that day, with no break in between their games. They shut down South America. They have it out for them. These Europeans, man.
Yeah, I fully agree. We have 2 NA people stacked up against 1 EU person, so this will be an easy time. Benjamin, your thoughts?
You're gonna get outvoted.
Uh,
Go ahead.
okay, so actually, I really expected big things from Beast Coast. Really like this team ever since like TI9. Like I really, I've enjoyed. Sorry, I just ran back up the stairs. But no, yeah. I was really disappointed. Obviously, there were some external circumstances with like the rescheduling. You know, what can you do? But yeah, unfortunate stuff. I did have them sitting probably towards the top of the lower bracket qualifiers. Didn't have them making it to upper bracket. I think that was a little bit of a stretch, but
Ooh,
yeah,
all right.
disappointing to see them go out.
All right. Who'd you have going to in the upper bracket? Do you think it would be PSG GD versus Enigma or what, man?
So I didn't have Nigma. I actually had Nigma going out in the wild cards.
The same.
Yeah, we both
Go
did.
on. Go on.
Yeah. But I definitely had LGD are definitely still my favourites to win the whole tournament. Said that before the tournament started. Just really love this roster. Like Arme's been one of the best carries in the world for a number of years now. Nothing to say has been really exciting. Like I've been particularly impressed with his Magnus. I've been loving, especially like nothing to say on like some of these odd heroes that we don't necessarily see on the mid lane. I think he's been great. Yeah, loving LGD at the moment. Still think they have a pretty good shot to win the whole thing. But Nigma have been a bit more of a surprise.
I think that'd be a good place to start because they are the team to talk about right now, and I think that is PSG LGD. I have some interesting stats on PSG LGD. I had one interesting stat. So this Mars hero has been blowing up. They have picked him twice this entire event. I think that's true. That was the stats I got on Dat Dota. I'm hoping that I did the right query. Sometimes you go on Dat Dota, you don't know the right query, and you get fucked. So let's hope it was the right query. But yeah, I've been loving watching this team just because of my big reason is Faith Beyond. I think he's super interesting to watch. I like that they had a game against, I think it was their game against EG where they picked the Axe off lane, and they had him go Manta, and it was one of those games where I was watching it and I was like, well, this seems kind of greedy. They're going with the Axe Manta play on the offlaner. I don't think it'll work. And then it gets to mid game and it's like, oh shit, this is like amazing. And there's nowhere for EG to farm anywhere on the map. So yeah, PSG LGD is popping off right now. I mean, I had them winning the entire event, so yeah, I'm curious if you also were high on this team coming into the event, Neff.
I knew how strong China was coming into the event. I was following China quite a bit because I was doing their lower division for DPC, and they're like better lower division teams. I think are able to compete against like a lot of the upper division teams from other regions. I've also heard that a lot of the European teams, you know how the Europeans are. They can't come up with anything on their own. They're copying the strategies from these Chinese teams. So I knew that they were super strong going into this. Them, Aster, and I think. I thought IG too, but they had to play with their coach as a stand-in. We're going to end up at the top of this tournament. A lot of people have PSG against Aster in the grand finals. which I do think is going to happen. But the PSG LGD are so much better than everybody else. Not only are they running like these crazy things, like they made Omni Knight work, which nobody else has done. Team Liquid tried to run that one by playing like Raid Boss Sumail. You need NA players to carry your European teams. Um, but they made Omni Knight work on their roster. Nobody else has been able to do that. And they're also winning so hard against EG that they're just throwing Arteezy onto cliffs again and again.
Yeah.
Like they're owning and they're having so much fun doing it. Like that's some wings level stuff. I don't know, man. I'm really afraid of China, even though I've got a heavy North American bias.
Yeah, I do think there's some Wings magic sprinkled onto this team. I mean, there's former Wings players on this team, so there would obviously be some, but it looks like I don't want to say it too quickly, but it looks like they might be in that form uh, once again, which would be really really exciting. And I think I'm always happy when China does well because it means other regions are forced to step up their game quite a bit to compete. Benji, you got any initial? I mean, you already kind of spoke about PSGLGV, but do you have any other thoughts on that?
Yes, I think. God, this is going to sound a little bit weird how I put this. I think that Secret was like at the top of every other region because they attended so many lands before. And when you're playing against the best teams in the world consistently, you have you're keeping your practice up that way. More recently with the DPC, you're stuck in your own bubble for 6 weeks. And I think China has like the strongest bubble. They've got so many really good teams in their upper division that their practice is so much better. And without lands happening for these people to compare whether they're not their meta is really good against China, they're just gonna fall apart when these lands happen. I think the first major tournament that happened, there wasn't any scrims. I don't know if you heard about that one, the Singapore major.
Yeah, yeah. There was just not enough time, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But this time around, everyone, they have their stuff set up. They can play against these other teams. They've got a chance to develop a meta while they're at the LAN, which I think makes it a little bit easier for them to play against China than it was before. God, where am I? Where am I even going with this one? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But essentially, I think the SA managed to stomp Europe and whatnot beforehand because they didn't know how strong SA was. They were stuck in their own bubble before, and that last major let the European teams know, okay, maybe we're not as good at this game as we thought we were. Maybe we should look to the other regions and copy what they're doing and incorporate that into what we're doing. And I think that's made Nigma a little bit stronger this time around.
Yeah, there was that really interesting. Benji and I have talked about it quite a bit, but there was that they did an interview with Blitz after the major, I think for Dream League, after Liquid won a game, and he talked about like them and the Liquid and the rest of the European teams just showed up to the major with the wrong idea. Like they just openly admitted that they thought that the game was much faster than it actually was, and then when they went up against these South American teams that played fast. And could maintain their farm, because I really think that is the strength of like Beast Coast Thunder Predator, is that they will play at you super quickly, but their hard carry will still be like the most farm person on the map at the same time. And Europe just wasn't prepared for that. I guess we'll go right down the list because this is the hot topic of the top two. Nigma kind of coming out of nowhere. I know. I think we all had them getting knocked out in the wild cards. So, I mean, what do you think is what do you think is responsible for this? We'll start with Benjamin here because he's the EU guy here. I wonder if there was something from the regionals that could give us some insight into Nigma's success.
Did we lose him?
So listen, I'm not calling myself an EU expert by any means, but
Confidence,
I
man,
think
confidence.
that for Nigma, it's been a lot about. I think the sort of Nigma success, you can see it from comparing them with Liquid. I think Liquid sort of approach to it was to put Sumail on like a right-clicking carry that could carry them when it came to the end of the game. Meanwhile, you had Nigma who would say, right, put RLTW on a carry that's gonna you can take us to the late game and put Miracle on, his Invoker, his Puck, these playmaking heroes that can really, find kills in early to mid game and create space for their carry. I think that was a big reason why you saw Enigma do so well and Liquid, obviously they're now out of the tournament, which is a big surprise to a lot of people, including myself. But I think their approach was slightly wrong, and I think Nigma I think that approach has been a big reason as to why they've had so much success.
Mm. Yeah, that's weird to me because like, one of the reasons I think that they put like IALTW on the team is so Miracle could play a little bit more greedy. But I think they've adapted to the meta really well. They've got a bunch of really old players with
Yeah.
tons of experience, and I think they do a better job adapting than Liquid does for that reason.
Yeah, I was really
And
excited. Oh, go
there's
ahead. Sorry.
go ahead. Okay, yeah, sure. I think also like Mind Control has been particularly impressive, and so is GH. Those two players, obviously they're great players and all, but maybe haven't seen kind of the caliber that maybe we saw at TI7, TI9, those two tournaments. But they've been exceptional. Like there's just been games where I've seen, Mind Control on Mars just get so many good initiations, and then GH. One of his builds that I've seen and really liked was going Locket on Wyvern. You just get these cold embraces on like your high carry, and like they're up to full in 3 seconds. So yeah, those two players I think have been playing out of their minds, but the whole strategy from Nigma has been working, and I think they're a favorite to finish at least top 6 at this major.
Ooh. Ooh. Spoken like a European.
So
All right.
I think it's pretty interesting actually, the Nigma versus EG matchup, because that was one that I was super excited about, because I thought both those teams were playing a fairly similar way, which was to have like this greedy one, and then have like the playmaking mid, and you could see that in their matchup. I really wish we would have seen a best of 3 there, because game 1 you see EG play Naga, and just outgreed Nigma completely. And then in game 2, they were like, okay, we're going to take that to the extreme. They let them pick Luna, and then they were like, we're going to pick this Arc Warden, and we are just going to completely farm the entire map, and it just didn't pan out for them. So I would have been really curious to see what would have happened in a game 3 in that scenario, like seeing EG pull back from that greed and trying to like play faster against Nigma. Because that seemed to be earlier in the tournament, that seemed to be the style that EG was going for, was like, we're going to play really fast, we're going to have our TZ rotate to these lanes really early, and not only that, but he's going to like farm as well. So we're not only going to be playing at you, he's also going to be like the most farmed person on the map. And then in game 2 versus Big Bud, they were like, we're just going to have our TZ be as passive as possible and split push the lanes. So yeah, that's Nigma. So let's get into the middle of the pack here. Well, actually, let's start out. Let's go on to the teams that are going home, because I'm sure we have a lot to say about both these teams, respectively. So let's start with Beast Coast. Pour one out for the boys over at Beast Coast. Really sad. I think the entire world was rooting for this team because they didn't get to play in the last major. And this was their chance, and South America was looking hot. They were coming in hot. People were like, "Oh, Beast Coast, this is their top 3 at least." And it just didn't pan out. What do you think the reason for that was, Neff? Do you have any insight?
Well, I like to blame part of it. I opened the podcast, shunning WePlay for what they did, messing things up for Beast Coast. I think one of the major reasons was Thunder Predator's performance last time. The Thunder Predator were number 2 in the region. They absolutely dominated the group stage. They managed to finish near the top of the tournament. They got a ton of DPC points. People probably were taken aback by that, and they go, okay, who the hell are these guys? They weren't supposed to do this well. Maybe we should be taking South America a little bit more seriously. This time rolls around. People have probably done a little bit more prep work to play against Beast Coast. It's a combination of that alongside their matches getting thrown around a little bit, and maybe just having a rough day or not understanding the patch as well as they thought they would. I heard that they were doing pretty well in their scrims before the major started, and I think one more win they might have gotten used to the meta enough to perform a little bit better in the playoffs. But these best of 2s just didn't end up going very well for them. I don't know. I'd say that a lot of it is just because people were taking South America and Beast Coast very seriously going into the tournament that they might have not done as well.
Yeah, and they didn't look. They took a game off of EG. They took a game off of Team Spirit. They took a game off of Liquid. It's not like they got completely shut out. This was just a very, very competitive group stage. With some very, very strong teams. Benji, do you have any Beast Coast thoughts?
Yeah, well, you got these SA teams, they're not quite on the caliber of EU. No, obviously, I'm just
Ooh,
joking. But
okay. Let's go.
I
I'll
mean,
have this debate with you. Go ahead,
I
my
mean,
man.
obviously that's a joke. I mean, Liquid also an EU team who got eliminated, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's also Nephew mentioned that these teams may be studying up a bit more on SA. I think it's also a factor you have to take into this is that given how well Thunder Predator did at the last major, perhaps that sort of I think we can all agree that that was Thunder Predator slightly overperforming. I don't think anyone went into that tournament saying, Thunder Predator are going to go,
Oh,
12 and 2 in the group stage or whatever
hold
they
on.
did.
I did. I did.
You said they were going to go 12 and 2.
Hold, no, no, no. Hold on. I can find the exact tweet. I'm pretty sure I said, "Can't
Okay,
wait
okay.
for my boy Leo Style and Thunder Predator to body these garbage European teams in 12 hours." Check it out, everybody.
Very nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I posted them, bodying those garbage European
Yeah.
teams. So
But
I
I think that I
continue.
think that But I think that that performance beforehand, people sort of go, right, maybe SA is the best region, and then you maybe come in with slightly elevated expectations for Beast Coast. Like I think we can all agree that Beast Coast definitely underperformed,
Mhm.
um, but perhaps maybe the expectation for them was so high because of what Thunder Predator did in the previous tournament, and then who knows, maybe Thunder Predator match up better on an international stage than Beast Coast, but I don't think that's so much of a factor because we've seen this Beast Coast roster do very well in international tournaments before. I think it's unfortunate for them that they're going home. Obviously, would have loved to see them in the Singapore major so that we could get a bit more of an idea of how they fit into the grand scheme of things overall. But I'm sure they'll be very disappointed with this early exit.
So we're saying that South America, like Icarus, flew too close to the sun too
I
early.
mean, we've still got no ping.
We
They can
still knew,
still
yeah, yeah.
make a run, and
Uh,
that maybe they have, a pretty. I don't want to say favorable first round matchup, but it's one that they can definitely win
Mhm.
against Quincy. But we'll
well,
get into
It,
that later, I assume.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, we could pop it over to Liquid now then.
Yeah.
Team Liquid, I think, like Beast Coast, another team that people did not expect to bow out early. I actually think when we did our prediction stream though, I said that this was one of the teams that I could expect to bow out just because of the strength of the group stage and Liquid's like
Mm.
inconsistency in tournaments. It wouldn't shock me. Like it wouldn't be uncharacteristic. It would definitely be them underperforming, but it wouldn't be uncharacteristic of their previous inconsistency. Um, yeah, let's start with Benji. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think coming into this, I think it's hard to look at this Liquid result. Before the major, I think a lot of people wouldn't have said that, having a new player on the team in Samael would have been that much of an issue, given that how they did in the DPC. Um, they did very well in DPC. They came second in Europe. That's pretty good, to be honest. But
I can
I
feel the
think
copium.
after the tournament, it might be quite easy for people to say, oh, the reason they weren't used to playing with Samael. I think you can probably discount that because of how well they did in DPC. But yeah, very, very disappointing for all these players. I don't think I didn't see anything particular in how they played to suggest why they did it so poorly.
Mhm.
I think that they did try a lot of cute stuff with, maybe putting Mickey on, carry Axe or something like this and playing Quake for Lone Druid in the off lane. Like, I get that it is difficult playing a mid player in the off lane, but we've seen Quake for dominate on, Slardars, uh, heroes like his Magnus. There's no question that he can play off lane well, so put him on an off lane hero. Don't put him on this Lone Druid that kind of messes up your entire game plan when you have a TA and a Lone Druid. Like, who does this stuff?
Mhm.
And it didn't work out for them. Sometimes you've seen Liquid do these crazy, insane drafts, and it works out. I guess it just didn't really this time around.
Mhm. Yeah, I want to say that Insania played Insania well. You pause for laughter. Uh,
Very
thank
nice.
you.
Whoa,
Good,
this guy.
good stuff.
This guy, I think he played very well. I was watching his what was the really big one? I think it was early on in the tournament. It was against was it day number 2? Was it against Evil Geniuses? No, they did that one towards the end, didn't they?
Yeah, that was the last game they played.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who was it that they were playing against? He was on the Oracle. Who was in the mid lane? I think it
Yeah,
was a Templar
I think that
in
was
the mid.
Liquid EG. It was like their final game. They had to win to force a tiebreaker. Because I noticed his, because I was looking at his Oracle in that game and I was like, this guy's single-handedly like carrying towards
Liquid
the
Liquid
tiebreaker.
Beast Coast. Liquid Beast Coast. They ended up losing that game, but he played so incredibly well this tournament. I think Insania did really well, so it's a little bit
Mm.
disappointing seeing him lose regardless of that. Um, but I guess they just didn't have that synergy. A lot of people have been talking about whether or not they wanted to replace Boxy with Sumail permanently after the tournament. I saw Blitz made that tweet, right? He's like, that's the truth. That wasn't really the case. The guy needed a little bit of break. I think they said something about like health problems or family problems or something
Mm.
personal.
It was like personal family problems. I think was
Yeah,
the insinuation.
yeah. I don't want to call them out and get you guys in trouble, but gaming orgs usually do that. Is oh yeah, it's nothing. It's a very big deal. The player will be back in no time at all, and suddenly they're gone. I think it might have been in this case. I don't think Sumail would have like joined the team, come second in the DPC. Maybe they didn't get the result they wanted for this tournament, and then he's gone all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to completely rule that one out because I think all gaming orgs are evil.
Yeah,
It's
but
the
I think it
nature
was
of the beast.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
But from the start of like Boxy having his break, Blitz has been saying on Twitter like multiple times because he knows that this kind of thing happens a lot. He's been saying like no matter how well Sumail performs, even if they go win the major, Boxy will come back when he comes back, and at that point he will be put straight into the team. Like there's not going to be a oh well we did so well with Sumail, maybe we should keep going with this for a while. Nah, they're putting Boxy. I mean obviously, who knows how much of that's true, but I'm inclined to believe them. I think.
On the Insania fact, I actually thought that he was the standout player for them at the Singapore major as well. Because I remember there was a stat where it was like camp stacked by a 5 position across a tournament,
Yes.
and it was like 12-1, some insane figure like that. Like he was just all over the map playing. It was when Keeper of the Light was like still really in meta, and he was just all over the map. He would stack like multiple camps at the same time with Illuminate, and I mean, I think he is like the one of the standout players on this team, on top of like captaining them as well. So it's a shame we won't see them moving forward, but that is because we get much to Benji's happiness, much to his delight, team spirit going on.
Oh, I was so happy about this one. The tiebreaker, yeah, that best of one. It looked like Liquid had the upper hand, and then Spirit coming back. And Spirit are my boys. Anyone who doesn't really know me, I'm a huge Team Spirit fan. I didn't have very high hopes for them at this major. I think I had them and TNC being eliminated. So I'm just very happy to see them progress onto the group stage. I don't care if they lose their first series. Who cares? They made it. That's as much as they've made me happy as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, and before we get too far away from it, because it is still on topic, Neff, I was curious what your thoughts were on what Sumail's plans are going to be post this major. There was some talk of him maybe staying on Liquid as like a coach moving forward, but do you think our boy will ever return to the shores from which he was fostered?
The North American hope, Sumail. That's a tough one. There's a lot of people vying for spots in North America, and I think a number of teams have fallen apart. We have 2 teams that aren't even able to play qualifiers, right? Both PSG and Wind and Rain, both banned out. They're not participating. I think a couple of teams have fallen apart completely. I'm not sure how Sad Boys is sitting, but I'm sure they're doing a roster shuffle. There's a drama with Black and Yellow. With Eternal Envy, that one might not even happen in qualifiers. So if people could somehow come together and make their teams work, Sumail could definitely play TI qualifiers in one of them. But he's a guy who's like an international superstar. I think that for him, playing with some of these players who aren't going to perform so well might be a little bit below him. So I don't think we'll see him at TI again this year, which is pretty sad, to be honest. I love the guy. I think he, for a long time, I thought he was like one of the best mids in the world. Maybe he's fallen off a little bit because he hasn't been on a competitive team for a super long time. But I don't think that any of these teams that are willing to take him will take him in North America. I think it might be a European team, if any, that grabs them for international qualifiers.
Yeah, if there was a squad, I could see the only two squads that I could see maybe picking him up was if Undying somehow blew themselves up, which I don't see happening,
No.
or if for some reason Sad Voice sticks around, which maybe they will, and then Fear is like still on good terms with Sumail and was like, "Hey, help a brother out." Uh, we're dying out here.
That's rough, buddy. I mean, Sad Boy's in the lower division now. I'm pretty sure. What Moose still on? Yeah, Moose still on it. Fear said he's off of Sad Boys and taking a break, didn't he?
Yeah,
He said he
I
was
think that's
interested
true.
in doing
So
casting,
they wouldn't
which
use
is
it
bad
up.
for me. That's very bad news for me.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
job security is not looking great.
Yeah, I got Owie, PPD, and Fear all casting the EGTI champions. I might have to take a step back and win the international before I get back into this.
We just need to make our own Good Kappa Studios from back in the day.
Yeah. Good cap. I'm actually not familiar with that one.
Oh,
I didn't follow.
It was the drama
any-
where Arteezy, Eternal Envy, and like Puppy would stream the BTS games.
Mhm.
And I mean, it was pre Admiral Bulldog doing his like his streams.
Yeah,
So it was like the first instance of like pro streamers like coming in. It was like consistently Arteezy, Eternal Envy, and like and Puppy were like the big three. It was some hype shit back in the day. So yeah, I guess we'll go back to Team Spirit. I was very impressed with their game versus the best of one that they had versus Liquid. But also, this was a team that like took games off of. I think they took games off of PSG LGD. They took games off of EG. They took game off of Avicii Gaming and TNC. So I mean, they went around the block. So I think this team is going to be scary in best of threes.
I don't know.
You
I
don't
don't know
know?
how much further they can go. I love this team. I think Yatoro's been playing out of his mind, so is Toronto Tokyo. Yeah, Maposhka as well, like leading this team. What a job he's done, as well as I think they have Silent as a coach. If you remember Silent back from like, I don't know, the early days of Dota. But yeah, I don't see this team moving forward that far. I mean, they have to play against either Alliance or LGD in the first round.
That's rough.
So, if you want to
Easy game.
Easy.
I mean,
Scary
they did take a
in
game
best
off
of
of
threes.
LGD. They did take a game off of LGD, so don't forget that. But yeah, I'm just really happy with how they've done so far. Proving that CIS is not a one-team region as I had previously theorized. So,
Well,
yeah.
hold your breath because it might be a no-team region depending on how
Oh.
these playoffs go.
Yeah. Who's playing Team Nigma against Virtus Pro? I can see Virtus Pro winning that, man.
Yeah,
That's a
it's-
fine match.
It's interregional a little bit, slightly.
Yeah.
I'm sure they scrim
I'm
against
sure
each
those
other.
teams have scrimped. Yeah.
The only issue is after that you have to play against PSG LGD after they wipe the floor with Alliance.
Yep.
I don't imagine you'll win that one.
No.
All right. Moving up the field, we have TNC Predator, a team that I think I expected to do maybe a little better, but with just how stacked these group stages are, they had a hard road. But lucky for them, they didn't have to play tiebreakers. They were able to eke it out. They were able to take two. They had two 2-0s. They were able to 2-0 Beast Coast and Nigma, which surprised quite a bit of people based on how well Nigma has performed. And I think Armel has looked really, really good this tournament so far. And I'm curious what you guys think they could do moving forward.
Okay, I'll start. I haven't been watching tons of TNC's games. I saw that they were super hyped up. I think I saw their the one against Beast Coast, which was incredibly sad for me as a Beast Coast fan. Another back-to-back game they were forced to play. They lost those ones in like 30 minutes and 25 minutes. If they could take out Beast Coast like that in 2-0, I think they potentially beat almost anyone in this tournament. I definitely underestimated the SEA region going into this one. I know this is not on the topic of TNC, but I think that Aster could potentially lose to T1. I do think that Aster will end up
Ooh.
beating the winner of No Ping Quincy Crew. I think the T1 match is going to be like their hardest one. SEA is impressed me after I watched TNC's performance in the group stage. Is what I want to say here.
Yeah.
I know
SEA is kind of sneaky. Like they don't like so SEA they are because SA in the first tournament everyone was like, oh my god, SA is so good, but SEA kind of had a decent tournament as well. Like Neon picked up a couple of good wins in the lower bracket and then almost beat Secret. They very nearly beat Secret, but yeah. So watch out for some of these SEA teams. TNC, I think I didn't have them ranked very highly going into the group stage. I think that their big turning point was when they 2-0'd Nigma. I still don't know how that happened. I watched that game and I have no idea how they managed to win both of those games. It just didn't seem logical to me, but they managed to do it, and that kind of put them over the edge in terms of managing to qualify for the bracket stage.
Yeah, and I would like to point out too, SEA has grown into a pretty competitive region, like within itself. Their interregional play is, I mean, it's certainly more competitive than NA is right now.
Ooh.
I hate to say it. You hate to say it. But I mean, their top two spots are at least like kind of up in the air at the beginning of every season, as opposed to some other regions where it's like, we kind of have an idea of how this is going to shake out, don't we?
Well, yeah. Did you expect his Sad Boys to end in 7th? I bet you didn't.
I did not expect Sad Boys to come in 7th.
Come on, you tell me it's easy to predict. We got a what? Second place TI, first place TI. We just end up in relegated to lower division.
Well, okay. If we're gonna talk some smack on the boys at Sad Boys for a second, I like Ryoya. He's like the hitman of Dota. He comes in, plays for all these teams. Just as a mid player though, look at the matchups he's up. Look at the talent that man is up against.
You mean Gunners? So somebody who was kicked for him?
I guess so. But I mean, not just Bryle. You got Bryle. You got CCNC. You got Abed. I mean, like, it's not easy. It's not easy out there for a mid player in NA. Maybe the other lanes, maybe a toss up. But that mid
There's
lane.
also Zoddle.esk.crunchyroll. Shout out to Team Zoddle.
Are they coming back?
No.
Oh, shame.
One of their players is banned. What can you do?
All right, moving up the list. We're going to take it to EG. The boys. NA's I would say they're the pride of NA. Quincy Crew, they're the spirit of NA. And Undying, they're the heart of NA. We'll say that. So
you
EG,
were searching for one there.
the pride of NA, looked really good out of the gate. I was like, this is EG's group stage. Like, they get that 2-0 against TNC. They're looking fast. They're looking quick. And then it's just 1-1s across the board for basically the rest of the tournament. They looked... let's see. Let's go to EG. They looked... Yes, it was PSG LGD they got 0-2 by. They looked okay in that game. In those games, they looked.
Against PSG LGD? No.
Yeah.
Arteezy got thrown up onto a cliff 3 times.
Yeah,
Twice in the same team fight.
I mean, prior to that moment, like, they looked okay in lanes. Like, people, this is the thing people have always been saying about EG. It's that their lanes are really good, and their lanes in those games still looked good. So at least on that front, they looked okay. The rest of the game, it was a wash. I mean, not really much to talk about there. But yeah, I mean, I know so many other people have been harping on it, but I really do want to point out that their lanes in pretty much every game, even in drafts where it looks like they've lost their lanes, they will come through and somehow make them work. So hopefully that helps them moving forward. Yeah, you have any thoughts?
My thoughts on that one is that it's not surprising they lost to PSG LGD. That team looks incredibly strong. They pretty good heroes that game as well. Enchantress has been popping off this tournament. They gave that one up at the start. They did okay in lane against it despite being such a lane dominator, but I think their plans just kind of fell apart in both of these games. Arteezy ended up getting taken out of these fights. They had all these missed magic damage to fall back on. They were playing against damage resistance there. I think that they just weren't used to playing against the style that PSG brought out in that game, and that was the issue, or at least for game number one. Game number two, I think they were just like outperformed, especially in like the Darkseer Nyx Assassin lane, and they kind of snowballed a little bit off of that one. And of course, the position one hacks.
Yeah. They did
Uh,
anticipate the meme, but it's not a
Yeah.
meme.
It's not a meme
not a
anymore
meme.
if it works. EG, I think they're a little bit lackluster in this. They could also just feel pretty confident with the fact that they're already qualified for TI, but I
Yeah.
think they do have a lot to prove after coming in second to Quincy Crew. They want to be able to place very highly in this major as well. Arteezy, I imagine that guy is incredibly hungry for a Valve event win, especially after last time.
Yes.
Yeah, which you hate to see.
I will say I was a bit confused by EG watching them this entire group stage, because in pretty much
Can I
every
give a
game
shout out to
oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Ice 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 real quick? Ice 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 has performed phenomenally, not only in their DPC region, but also in the tournament so far. The guy is fucking relentless. He slaughters heroes all over the place. He goes one place to another. He's got gamer senses, man. He's fucking broken. You need to nerf this guy.
Yeah, yeah. He's scary to watch. I mean, and he's been EG is a fascinating team to me because you have Arteezy and Ice Ice Ice, who are these two cores who have been playing pretty much the same position their entire career. Arteezy played mid for a little bit, but and have been consistently, maybe not like the best in the world, but always in contention, consistently. And I don't think there are many other position ones or offlaners in the world who can say that as well.
You see a lot of supports, they hang around at the top position, like Poppy. Some people make an argument about him being one of the greatest players of all time, but Ice Ice Ice, Arteezy being able to perform at such a high level in that core position for so long instead of falling off and playing support instead is, definitely something to talk about.
But yeah, I've been confused by EG a little bit throughout the tournament because in pretty much every game I watched, I was like, oh, they could 2-0 this team. They could, and maybe that's just some copium coming
they
through.
could.
They could.
They could
But
2-0 this
then
team,
I'd look
but
at
they
the
won't.
draft and I would be like, what is this? What are they doing? And it looks like they're just there's two possibilities here that I'm gonna lay out. One, they feel like they're confident in their position to get into TI, so they're just kind of like messing around and trying stuff out. Option two is that they came into the tournament with one idea, realized that idea was not the play this meta, and now we're kind of scrambling to find something else. And I hope that the latter option is not the case, because that does not bode well for them going into playoffs. Benji, do you have any EG thoughts?
Well, you guys pretty much said everything there is to say. I mean, I'm not surprised because you guys did. Pretty much NA for life, but
Hell yeah, brother.
I
Let's
think
go.
what you said about sort of, I think you said about the two options about whether EG are trying to figure out what's good and sort of just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, as opposed to realizing that they came in with the wrong idea. I think that it's most likely the former. They didn't especially get better over the entire tournament, but if you look at just their final game against Liquid, they picked Carry Viper and offlane Beastmaster. These are not heroes that you pick if you're trying to, fit in with everyone else in terms of the meta. They're definitely trying to, experiment a little bit. They've already locked up their slot at TI, so I think they're just trying to, not necessarily sort of go easy, but experiment a little bit, see if things work. If not, fine, we're already at TI.
It's interesting that you bring that up. I want to run it back to Beast Coast real quick. They seem to, a lot this tournament, put themselves on a bit of a timer with some of their drafts, and things didn't end up going their way. I know, like, their Abaddon and whatnot, after a certain point, like, Beast Coast would rax people, but they couldn't close out the games fast enough due to how I think some of these Chinese teams especially were playing the map. What was the main case in point that I wanted to look at here? It was Beast Coast against PSG LGD. Was that it? No, I forget the matchup that happened. My God, I wanted to bring up the point, but I've completely lost myself as I'm trying to think about like 88 different games that have
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, it's a lot. When you try to recall events from a specific game, like I
Yeah,
remember, I was, I think I mentioned this to Benji the other night, but like I
we need a
remember,
script. We need a
yeah,
script.
that's what we usually do. But for the live show, we're like, oh, let's keep it loose.
Yeah.
But I should have written some notes down. There was a game where Arteezy went, he was building Sanj and Yasha on Faceless Void, and he went Sanj first, and it like owned because he just couldn't die. Um, but I can't remember what game that was. Like just based on recall, I remember him walking around with this item and being like, "Oh, that's interesting," and then after that, it's just a blur. Who it was against? I just knew he was doing well.
But he went
Yeah.
Manta and then Sanj.
No, he went he went Maelstrom Sanj. Like he didn't buy any kind of attack speed item at all. He just like kind of ran at people when
Interesting.
Chronosphere was down.
Oh, it was this game I was thinking of, Beast Coast Liquid game number 2. They just missed their timing here, and they did something similar, I think, in uh, God, it might have been the following day against EG where they missed their timing. EG, oh yeah, EG Beast Coast game number 1. Beast Coast missed their timing there as well.
Mhm.
I feel like EG's been kind of going for that same idea that Beast Coast had, but Beast Coast obviously didn't work out for them. Maybe things went pretty well with those in scrims with Beast Coast, and EG knows that, so they wanted
Mhm.
to try it out in their last game against Liquid. They might have had to. I'm starting to think that they realized that they had to throw out their idea of how they thought the game should be played in this tournament, and they wanted to use that last game to like try one more thing. Given the fact they knew they were already locked in, they weren't moving into the upper division or the upper bracket.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense. And I think that would be maybe not as bad as it might look for them, because there is like if you look at the heroes that are being played a lot in the tournament, it's not like EG is bad on those heroes. Like if they needed to just stick to the script of the tournament meta, I think they could pull that out. They might not look as confident as they did at Singapore, but you know they would still look competitive. Um, Moving on to the last team in the group stage, Vici Gaming. Um, I think this team looks they look like beasts. I think Old 11 is one of the strongest offlaners at the event right now. He's looked incredibly consistent, even in games where they're behind. This guy is making plays. Um, yeah, I'm really excited for Vici Gaming going forward. What is their playoff match? They have to
They're
play against VP Nigma, so they actually have a decent shot of moving on from that.
Mhm.
Benji, have you been following Vici Gaming?
Yeah, so I think the main thing with Vici Gaming has been just consistency. They've been super consistent, whereas other teams have been sort of up and down, losing some series. Vici Gaming already came through the wild card. They didn't drop a single series in the wild card. You know, 2-2-0s and 3-1-1s. And then it's been a pretty similar story in the group stage. They're just extremely consistent team, is what I see. Poyo has been very impressive for me. So is Ori, and so is Old 11, as you said. Old 11's one of those players I think that, you know, I think we talked about this before, but he can have a very good game, and then sometimes he looks like, you know, like what the hell is he doing? But you know, he's been mainly on the better side of that for now. I think that's a pretty good key for VG Gaming moving forward. If they can get, you know, the best out of Old 11, I think they're going to have a pretty successful time at this tournament, and then moving forward, if they make it to TI.
Yeah, what are their TI chances right now?
I was just about to look that up. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Neff, do you have any Vici Gaming thoughts?
I thought they'd make it in the upper division. Them and PSG. Enigma managed to somehow, use dark magic to beat them. A little bit ahead of them, of course, not that much ahead of them. China is just way too strong at the moment, unfortunately. It really sucks seeing them absolutely body Beast Coast this tournament, to be real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just thought that they looked incredibly strong. I was surprised that IG didn't end up making it through. They managed to just end up ahead of these Chinese teams here. So maybe they've just been adapting on the fly a little bit better than these other teams, which I thought they were a little bit weak at, to be honest with you. I've always considered them when they were Liquid to be masters of the meta and not masters of Dota itself, but they're obviously proving me wrong here with how quickly they're adapting after being stuck in their regional bubble.
I think that's been something I've noticed about Enigma this event, and also during the. I watched a little bit of them during the regionals. They're a team that definitely adapts a lot more than teams like Liquid and like Alliance. These other teams in EU, they definitely play their style of Dota. But when you watch Enigma, they are a lot more likely to kind of adapt to what's going on around them and play for the other team instead of trying to play their own game as much, which is interesting to see. So yeah, I guess we'll. Benji, do you have those stats up?
Yeah, so according to Knoxville, Vici need a top 8 to secure TI. So that would just be their first. They need to win their first series essentially against either VP or Nigma. I think is what we said. Yeah.
Okay, and then they're good.
Yeah. So I think that's. I don't want to say likely or unlikely. I think it's pretty much like a. I think you pretty much say that one's 50-50. Like I could see that one going. I don't think I would get either side and edge there.
For them moving forward.
Yeah.
I would
actually don't know
give
which team
Vici the edge
favor going against.
if it was them against VP. Nigma Vici rematch, I'm unsure of.
How did that one go the first time? So in the wild card, Nigma versus Vici was a 1-1, and then in the group stage, Vici actually lost to Nigma 2-0, and that was the. Yeah, I think that was the only series that Nigma lost in the whole thing. Oh no, sorry. Wait. Sorry, Nigma 2-0'd Vici, and that was the only loss that Vici had, sorry.
Mm-hmm. So in that rematch, Nigma has a bit of an edge.
Potentially, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's best of twos. It's sometimes hard to glean which team is stronger. So yeah, let's move on to. I guess we can move on to our playoff predictions. Let me switch the topic here. But yeah, we'll just start on the top and work our way down, I guess. So I guess we'd be starting off with Nigma versus Virtus Pro, the EU head to head. We're sad at NA, but this, maybe these EU, Eastern EU, Western EU, it's all the same to me. I mean, so
agreed.
Maybe they're feeling a little bit of sorrow too. Benji, you watch a lot of Virtus Pro. You love the CIS region. Do you think Virtus Pro has the edge here?
I do not. I have Nigma winning this one 2-1, and that's not for me to say as an Eastern European fan. VP obviously very dominant in Eastern Europe, 14-0 over both DPC seasons. The only team to not even drop a series, but I don't know. There's just something about this VP team that I don't think they're going to be able to perform on major stages. They obviously have a lack of experience. A lot of their pretty sure all of their players prior to the Singapore major had never been to a Valve event, and some of that's COVID, but a lot of that is just being new to the scene. And I think Nigma's riding a really hot streak right now. I think they're just they're riding a wave of momentum, and they've got loads of experience among their ranks. I think they are going to have enough to take out this VP team. 2-1 though. I'm going to give. I think VP will take a map, but yeah, 1 to Nigma for me.
I'll be a contrarian here, and I think Virtus Pro are going to do it. I think they were embarrassed at the Singapore major. They're hungry. They want this win. They need this win. They need to prove that they are a team worthy of moving on. And I'm sure these teams have scrimmed a ton, just based on them being in the same region. I'm sure if you're Virtus Pro, you want to scrim Nigma, because even if they underperform in regionals, you probably think that they're still like a really good team. So yeah, I would actually give it Virtus Pro. I'm gonna say, pulling this directly out of my ass, 2-0. We'll give them a 2-0. Neff, do you have a prediction for this one?
Absolutely. Last season, people come to me and they say, everyone is so scared in Western Europe of Virtus Pro over in Eastern Europe. They're so strong. I say, literally, who cares? You want to know how they're weak? They're beating every other team in the region. No contest, no problem. No competition means they're not getting any better. Let me tell you that. So, last season, I was like, they're going to be a complete joke. They're going to drop out of this tournament right away. They don't deserve 3 slots. Give it to our NA and SA boys. And look what happens. They managed to beat a fractured Quincy crew. Nice job there, you guys, beating up a bunch of injured Quincy crew players. And then drop out immediately to Thunder Predator. Shout out to Thunder Predator. This time around, I imagine it's going to be no different. Sure, Team Spirit has surprised me. Toronto, Tokyo has been popping off. They've done a pretty good job, but CIS, I'm going to go ahead and say that right now I think they're a weak region, and these guys are too inexperienced to pop off on land given the competition inside the playoffs here. There you go.
CIS, CI shit, apparently.
I'm going to get death threats, man.
There's no need. Completely uncalled for.
That was him, not me. Please.
CIS stands for Can't Inspire Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll take all the death threats, direct them at me, direct them at.
From all the huge CIS fanboys, because I'm sure there's loads.
Oh yeah, CIS is actually, if you look at my YouTube analytics, it is 1% NA, 2% SA, 98% Russia.
Is it actually?
No, absolutely not.
I was gonna say maybe people are like Russian better as looking at your videos to understand how to bet on some of these
Dude,
games.
you get that on Twitter sometimes. If I guess I don't have that much clout at all in like the Dota sphere, but I guess the little I do, like people will DM me like, who do you got in this game? And it's like, I'm not gonna give you gambling advice for some tier 2 NA Dota.
Come on, be cool.
Okay, so moving on, we got Alliance versus PSG LGD. I'm curious what Benji's thoughts on this one. I'll give mine right away. I think PSG LGD is going to 2-0 this Alliance team. No problem. I don't think Alliance aren't good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they are EU, but they were the top of EU. So that must mean something at the very least. But PSG LGD, they're looking good. They're looking hot.
Mm-hmm. I think PSG will pretty handily win this one, although they do have Peter, Leave China to Me, Dagger on their team. That's a bit of a boon here for Alliance, but PSG, they're looking too hot. A lot of people have them to win this entire tournament. And I think a lot of people think Alliance isn't going to perform so well on the land. People are saying, like, yeah, sure, they're masters of online play, but they might not do so well. And maybe PPD will give them the advice that they need, pump them up, give a speech, so to speak. We're famous for that in North America. Shout out to Mason. But yeah, PSG LGD are definitely my favorites for this.
I'm trying to imagine PPD giving a Mason speech.
Yeah, I was just about
and
to
it just
say.
it doesn't roll off the tongue.
Really like laid back. It'd be like just no emotion whatsoever.
You know, guys, we're going up against the best team. We got unlucky. The odds are stacked against us, and there would just be no positive aspect at the end of it. Like, it seems like he's building up to a positive thing.
But it just ends.
It just ends. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done as much work as I can for you guys. It's in your hands.
Here are my
Take
notes.
this defeat alone. No, yeah, I also have LGD winning this one pretty convincingly 2-0. Just Alliance have just nothing to show me nothing to convince me that they might even take a game. So, yeah, LGD 2-0 for me.
Okay, I mean, consensus. We love to see it. Team Aster versus T1. I guarantee I will be the dissenter here. I have T1 foolishly.
You're fucking cracked.
Moving on.
I don't know what else to say.
Versus Aster because of
Can we get a
23
professional
Savage.
podcast host? Or what?
23 Savage. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Singapore Major.
Putting all of his eggs in the 23 Savage basket.
Yet again. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. 23 Savage at the last major. He was, it was his birthday during those games. He was new to the team. He got invited to play. He was, he was probably partying, having a good time. This is all speculation, but maybe he was not feeling so hot the days afterwards to take these games off of some of the best teams in the world. Now, it's not his birthday. He's just here to play. He's here. He's on contract. He has a contract with T1 to do well. He is under the gun. This is his chance to prove himself to the world. T1 2-1 Team Master.
Justice for
That was an
Jackie.
adorable speech.
Justice for Jackie. Let's go. Oh, my homies hate 23 Savage.
He got pizza partied.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Kicked for 11K, or sorry, was it 12K MMR player or something
Yeah.
like that?
But you know what? We can't cast aspersions as NA people. Like, this is an NA team. This is an NA move.
All right, that's fair, I suppose. That is a very NA move. Not my NA. Hashtag not my NA.
This is the. If you can't handle NA at its worst, you don't deserve it at its best.
That's true. I don't know, man. I think replacing him for a player that they thought is better right before the major was a very NA move. I don't really like it. I think that you're going to have a lot less synergy in your roster. Maybe Jackie was the source of a couple problems. It was 23 Savage's debut on the team. Maybe he didn't perform so well because of that. This time it might be a little bit different. But I think that Aster is I thought that they were the strongest team in China, and I predicted that for a number of things in the last season. I actually ended up getting there's some event going on in Perfect World where you did the Radiant Oracle prediction, and I ended up coming in first place week number 1 because I put all my bets onto Aster and then performing super well. I think T1 doesn't know what kind of powerhouse they're up against here.
I think that gives them an advantage. In fact,
You think because they're the underdogs, they'll pop off?
I think because they don't know what they're up against,
They won't
they're gonna
jump?
just like go. They're gonna go in like with just guns blazing, like, and it's gonna be. I can't think of an anime that it's like Monkey D. Luffy going headlong into the fray, not knowing what he's up against, and somehow coming out ahead.
I see. I didn't watch that one. I heard it really picks up at episode 600, though.
Actually, it's you add another 0 to that.
6,000.
And you
Yeah.
pop it up. Benji, I imagine you also are a Team Master.
Yeah, Aster 2-0. I've learned from my lesson to doubt China from the last major, so yeah.
I am the contrarian corner over here. Okay, I guess we got to talk about the saddest matchup of the event: Quincy Crew versus No Ping.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm calling it out right now. This is rigged.
Fucking broken draws. They're trying to keep North America down. I bet fucking BSJ and Kyle were behind this. Traitors to the region.
Benedict Arnold's, truly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, well, let me offer a counterpoint real quick because last major, we did the random draw, right? And everyone was like, "This is bullshit. You know, it's random. You can't predict anything. You know, it's stupid." And now they do like a weighted draw. I have no idea how they did the draw. I'll be honest, I have no idea. But now they do the weighted draw. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is stupid." You know, you have the two NSA teams. Like, people are never going to be happy about this, right? Any way you do the draw, people are going to be upset. So
Yeah, but it's my turn.
yeah, I don't know what my
happy.
point is here. I'm just saying, get over it, I guess.
Oh, you mean the people that suddenly switched things around and made it more difficult for Beast Coast in day number 2 of this tournament? You're saying that they're
You're
not
suggesting
guilty?
A wide scale conspiracy against the Americas.
Absolutely. I think this is European pandering. Oh no! Not only do we need 4 slots to make our region stronger, but we also need the brackets rigged in our favor, so America comes out with less DPC points than us. Typical Europeans, man. Get them out of here.
Okay, well, moving on. Who you got?
Well, okay. Who do I have for this one? I think that Quincy Crew are going to be the uncontested masters of this tournament. You know,
Yes.
if China wasn't so incredibly strong, NA would end up in first place here. No Ping, I feel as if they don't have enough land experience and they're going to fall apart. I think the group stage also provided a lot of practice for EG, and then they'll beat whoever comes out on top of. I think they'll beat No Ping. Quincy Crew EG is up in the air.
So
But Quincy Crew
Quincy
coming out on
Crew,
top of No Ping.
and then
Yeah.
No Ping losing to EG.
Yes.
Sad days. Sad days. But
What-
unfortunately, I have to agree here because if there's one region that I think is prepared for South America, it is going to be the region that they scrim against most often. I have Quincy Crew moving on. I have a game going to No Ping in No Ping's favor, but I think Quincy Crew having a full roster, having MSS, Mojo, Stan King, Snake King over here. I think they look too strong, and I just really want an unsponsored team to win the entire event, win a Valve event. I mean, that would just be magic.
No Ping is sponsored.
No, Quincy Crew.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. That would be magic. That's a rough one. I think the team wanted it a little bit sooner if the content packs came out, but I think that was more of a fact that teams did not submit them rather than Valve taking a while.
Yeah.
I thought it was Valve's fault at first. Then I realized it was not.
It's also I think it's partially also that because SVG talked about it a little bit, but it's just so hard to find a sponsor in NA. Partially because of the lack of team consistency, but Quincy Crew's been around for quite a while. He said the bigger reason is just like cost of living in NA is so high that if you want to get a good contract with the sponsor, it takes a while. And they're in a position right now where they can kind of afford to wait it out a little bit, wait for a good thing to come along. But hopefully after this event that changes.
Yeah, I think team bundles are going to play a huge part of that. I don't want to go into details of talking about nerd shit like accounting and numbers and shit. But once the data's out for how many sets sells and like that 50% revenue sharing and how much money organizations can make if they pump out good content, people buying into that, people will be wanting to pick up these Dota teams and getting their content packed with their stuff that they make into the game, because Dota players are fucking cash cows. We're a bunch of dumb cash cows.
Yeah, that's true.
Give us our ads, man. We don't care. We don't care if it's only for 2 months. We just want to drop the all chat lines.
Dude, I want that Quincy Crew merch as soon as possible before they get
jackets?
sponsored. Yeah, those look good as hell.
Yeah.
Those are fresh.
Yeah, they are.
Benji, who you got in this Quincy Crew versus No Ping?
Okay, well, I guess I got to be the contrarian. It is the Animajor. We need an anime storyline, and that is No Ping's Cinderella run through the bracket. I have No Ping winning this one 2-1.
Okay. I'd say it would be a Cinderella run the entire way because they weren't even anticipated to get top in the region.
Well, I have them losing the next round, but
See,
I think if they win the first series, it's still a Cinderella story. Plus, what do they need to? Let me have a look. What they need to qualify for TI, because I think they still can.
Yeah, it's unlikely, but I think if they get a high placement, they can get locked in, which would be insane because that would mean SA would have 3 teams going to.
Yeah, they need top 6
invited to TI.
So if they just win one series, they win their first upper bracket series, or if they win 2 lower bracket, I think that probably equates to.
yeah, but then they have to beat again the teams that are most equipped to deal with them. I feel, which is Evil Geniuses and Quincy Crew. Again, bullshit. I think there's a conspiracy here, especially given the fact that they switched around Beast Coast in favor of like Nigma. Europeans, man. Not only do they get 4 slots, but they also have to take from us. How much more will they take?
Well, here's the thing, though. Their slots at TI aren't looking so hot right now.
Yeah, it's because they're awful, even though they're trying to rig things.
So they're trying their damnedest to fix their qualifiers so they can have some representation at TI.
Mhm.
I think Quincy Crew moving on, and then you see Evil Geniuses taking out No Ping. I guess we'll go through the rest of them too. So if we have Nigma moving on, Vici Gaming versus VP, I think we said that we anticipate Vici Gaming to win that matchup.
VC against.
I think I'm gonna wait to see that first bracket series. I think before I make a prediction on that one. I could see that one going either way. I think I want to see how the losing team performs, if that makes sense, before I make a judgment on it.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and I'll say now that I think China too strong. They'll beat whoever loses in that one.
Yeah. And then it would be Alliance versus Team Spirit. I think we would have Alliance moving forward unless Benji has some Team Spirit anime energy.
No, I definitely have a line.
And then the interesting one would be T1 versus TNC Predator. Or in my case, Aster versus TNC Predator. but let's be real, T1 versus TNC Predator. T1 was better than them in the regionals, but TNC Predator do look strong right now, and they're gonna have a little more experience with the major, with kind of the meta. So I think that one's actually a toss up completely.
Yeah, I was looking at this one. So obviously T1 got the better of them in the most recent DPC series, but last DPC season, TNC actually beat T1. So, I mean, that's even more of a toss-up. I mean, things change, right? They didn't have 23 Savage at that time, T1 didn't. So, I personally have T1 moving on, but I think that one's probably the closest.
Wait a second. That's bullshit as well. T1 have to play against Aster, then they have to play against another SEA team immediately after that if Aster wins. Hold on, this is just rigged for Europeans.
Wait, VP has to play against Nigma.
This entire tournament is just rigged for Europeans.
They do seem to have organized the upper bracket matches by like kind of like how they usually scrim. Like VP and Nigma typically scrim together. Alliance versus LGD is kind of the like anomaly, but Aster versus T1, CN, SEA, and then Quincy versus Noping. Interesting. I'm gonna get the tweet up that says how they did these brackets.
Okay.
Does anybody know how they did these brackets?
They said they were weighted.
About it.
Weighted? What does that mean?
So, okay, here's the seeding for the playoffs bracket made by WePlay and approved by Valve. So this is going by Valve. The seeding was made
they say that. I don't know if that's true though.
Okay.
Because they also said that
hold on.
Valve. Okay.
I'll go for it. So they seeded it based on DPC points, DPC Season 2 game difference. I don't know what that means. DPC Season 2 game wins, DPC Season 2 match wins. That doesn't clear up anything. So on DPC points, I guess. Those are like Virtus Pro because they're first in DPC points. They play against the 8th seed, which is Nigma, because they've got the fewest DPC points out of all of these teams. Is that how it works? It's not very. They haven't made it very clear.
Page open.
So let me see if that checks out.
So I mean, I'm curious. What is SEA's like hopes for TI slots? Are they looking at only one as of right now?
T1 need top 8 to get to DI. They don't have anyone locked in at the moment. TNC need top 2.
Well, that's not. It's not looking great.
So it could be. So unless T1 can beat Aster or win their 2 lower bracket series,
qualifiers could be
looking likely that. Yeah, only one SEA team at TI, which is interesting because SEA got a wildcard slot, but NA and SA did not. I mean, I think everyone's hoping for a bit of reshuffling in terms of the DPC format, in terms of like wildcards for next season. Pretty much consensus is that you could give every single team a wildcard slot and not have 4 slots for you, or you've only got 2 slots for NA. Seems a bit stupid.
Oh my god, SEA got incredibly unlucky with the distribution of points because 800 is like the big number that you want, right?
Yeah, that's
and they have a bunch of people sitting like what? Yeah, 600, 700 would have. Oof. Oof. That's rough. A rough day for SEA Dota fans, man.
All right, so I think we've all said that we expect PSG LGD to take the entire tournament. This will be the end of our playoff segment. Who do we think will get? Let's do a top 3 real quick. Who do we think will be a part of that top 3? Neff, why don't you start us off?
Who I think is going to be top 3 of this tournament? Sorry?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to say that it's going to be. I think first place is Aster. A lot of people have PSG LGD. Mm-hmm. Second place, PSG LGD. Third place, Quincy Crew. Let's go. Let's go Quincy
Okay.
Crew.
Ooh.
You think MSS being here is gonna shift it in their favor? So you think you have Quincy Crew? They would be going. They would be losing to Team Master second round most likely, and then probably beating out Vici Gaming.
Yes. I think that EG is going to beat. No, I think eventually Quincy Crew. Yeah, Quincy Crew will get knocked down by Team Aster, I think. And then who is it they play against after that?
They would play Vici most likely, based on our predictions so far.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it's circumstantial, right?
Yeah.
Like, if even one of these results doesn't go what we expect, then it might just mess up the entire bracket. But I think the finals are probably you could probably predict those pretty stably.
Yeah, I would say I have PSG versus Quincy Crew final, with a Aster position 3.
Interesting.
Um,
I actually have I have the LGD Aster final that everyone is expecting.
yeah.
But I have EG coming third.
Okay.
EG sort of doing the lower bracket gauntlet being. So I have my bracket. They'd be Noping, then T1, then Nigma, then VP, and then finally losing to Aster in the.
Wait, where do you have Quincy Crew in all of this?
I have them losing to VP in lower bracket round 3.
Oh, okay. So you're
Oh.
wrong. That's fine.
Well, there's actually potential for a Quincy Crew versus EG lower bracket round 4, which could be pretty hype. I mean, it's not super unlikely. It would take Quincy Crew beating Noping, losing to Aster, and then winning either VP or Vici.
Yeah.
And then Evil Genius's road to getting there doesn't seem too bad. They would beat probably Noping and then probably beat TNC Predator T1, which seems likely. And then who would they have to beat after that? Then they would go up against either round 2.
Like
Alliance probably.
Nigma or LGD.
Oh yeah,
Or
Nigma or
Alliance,
LGD. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of things have to go right, but it's not unlikely. Like the things that have to go right aren't things that would surprise anybody.
No, yeah, I think you've got a pretty solid path. That's why I have them top 3, obviously. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be good for EG. Top 2 at the first major, top 3 at this major. Sets you in pretty good stead for TI, right?
Yeah, because you don't
I
want to
think-
win the tournament before TI. You just want to.
No, because then you have the curse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just want to show up.
Yeah. You show up for TI thinking that you're gonna lose, and then you win it.
You want to, you want to
that's
show,
what
you want to do as bad as possible in this tournament. So right now, the winner I have for TI is actually Beast Coast. Last place in the group stage, so first place
This
TI.
is a way too early
Yeah.
TI prediction.
I like it.
All right. Well, let's move on to the final topic of the day, and that's going to be we're going to talk a little bit about the tournament meta so far, the picks and also the stats based on those picks, the meta. I would like to start off with so we made some predictions on our first podcast about heroes that we thought were going to get picked and banned the most. I believe we were both right. With our predictions, Benji, because you had Mars.
No, I did not have Mars. So I had.
Oh, okay.
So I had Ancient Apparition as most picked, and then Brood most banned, and then I think B2 had Void Spirit most picked, and we both agreed on Brood was most banned. We were right there at the moment, I think. But yeah, this Mars hero has just been taken off.
Yeah,
Jeff, I want to get your thoughts on this Mars hero.
Yeah.
Because sort of to me, when I look at Mars, I see it's pretty similar to Centaur. But I think that Mars is just like a little bit better in lane in terms of securing range creeps and stuff. What do you sort of see in this Mars hero that made it by far the most picked hero at the tournament?
Am I going up? Am I up here?
Yeah, you
I
are.
got some stuff. All right. I think it's really good against a lot of melee hero matchups. Wraith King is like a wildly popular hero that gets completely countered by Mars and lane. In fact, you have God's Rebuke. It clears out the skeletons, and it also does a lot of damage to him given the fact that he's got low armor. You're always going to be able to get last hits in lane with God's Rebuke and Spear. You always have a very good team fight set up with your ultimate. Centaur, like it can go one way or the other. I think if you're up against something like an Ursa and you're playing Centaur, you just get zoned at a lane. You can't really do as much. Ursa, Centaur was a little bit more popular before Vanguard got nerfed and before Sange got nerfed. But they nerfed. What was it they changed about Centaur in the most recent patch? They nerfed one aspect of him, didn't they?
They got
Um,
slightly enough. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they nerfed the strength heroes and the strength hero items, which made things kind of difficult for him. I think Mars is a concept as hero is very good, and that's why he continues to be strong regardless of those items getting weakened. A lot like how Earth Spirit, despite the fact that he's constantly nerfed, just continues to be very good if you have somebody who can play him. Like it's good at setting up so many things in so many scenarios.
Yeah.
It's very versatile for that reason. Versus Centaur, a lot harder. There's also like the guaranteed stun of Yule's set up with Spear that you don't have on Centaur. Like Stampede lets you jump the backline very easy, but you don't have that guaranteed. You can't react to the stun like Mars does. So
Yeah.
those are
So
my
I
thoughts
have
on why he's
Centaur
very
say-
good.
So yeah,
Mhm.
so his base attack speed is reduced from 100 to 90. Stampede cooldown increased by 10, and then his level 15 talent was reduced from +6 armor to +5 armor. So not that much nerfs. I guess Stampede cooldown are probably the biggest one there.
Yeah, that he's going to struggle to trade with people a little bit more in lane if he's got that reduced attack speed. And they nerf the items that you build on Centaur as well. So getting hit with both those at the same time
Yeah.
actually hurts the hero quite a bit. Versus Mars, he's going to be very good at initiating fights and doing these things no matter what. Speaking of being very good at initiating fights, I'm surprised the Spirit heroes haven't been picked up as much in this tournament. It might be because Quincy Crew isn't playing yet, but they seem to have like fallen out of popularity super hard.
Yeah, well, I had, like we said, I had Void Spirit actually being one of the most picked heroes at the tournament, just because it's a mid laner that doesn't really get banned all that much, and it's very good at like initiating and like doing team fight stuff. So I imagined we'd see it come out a lot more, but it seems like people want to carry from the mid lane a lot more, which is why I guess we've seen kind of a resurgence of Ember Spirit a little bit. In comparison, I think Ember Spirit's been picked at least a couple times. Let me
10 times.
10 times. I mean, that's
Yeah, Ember Spirit's been picked 10 times. Void Spirit's been picked 7 times.
yeah,
8.
8?
8.
8 with a 13% win
I have-
rate. Not looking
Oh,
great.
I only have 7 here. Sorry, my dad Dota stats aren't.
Maybe Dat Dota's correct. I'm using Dota buff.
I'm also using I'm
Dota
using a
buff
different
is
source. So.
Sometimes more up to date.
Mm.
Because sometimes they don't update or the matches don't pass or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I
I
don't know
always
how to
love to
use
see
Dat
my
Dota.
I always love to see my boy Ember coming back. It's my favorite hero. He's been being played a lot of very different builds from what I've seen. So yeah, one hero I did want to mention. People have been surprised by the strength of this this Luna. It kind of started to pick up steam towards the end of the group stage. Saw some teams picking it up. And I was really surprised by that because like watching NA, I'm sure Neff remembers like this hero's popping off. It was like everyone was talking about this Luna, especially at the beginning of the patch. You had like Eternal Envy just camping Dire Triangle for like 30 minutes into the game, and the hero just farms so quickly you could get away with it. And I mean, I'm surprised I'm surprised people are surprised by its success. It's 5-1 right now with an 83% win rate. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes. I think they're playing a little bit faster, and Luna plays as a faster carry. You don't want to go to the ultra late game. You want to be like 2-3 items starting to push, win the game at that point with Luna. And it's not like the super hard carry from safe lane. Like you can get a mid laner that carries pretty hard, and Luna can be like the hero that does a lot of damage with just by providing with the aura. You can tear up buildings very quickly. It complements a hero that wants to farm from the mid lane pretty well, I feel. It's also a little bit better with the fact that your Manta style was buffed for the most recent patch. Black King Bar also feels a little bit better to build on Luna now because it was a change from the 10 seconds to 5 to 9 to 6.
Mm.
I know it sounds ridiculous, but the fact that you can buy it earlier, you don't care as much about your charges, feels really good on a hero like Luna. That's why I think the hero's gotten a little bit stronger. In NA, we started to look at it like, okay, this is the new Alchemist because of how fast it farms.
Yeah.
You want to end the game a little bit sooner. I don't think the other regions have picked up on that one as much. I think they'll start to once the group stage starts because they got like only 6 picks and like the 83% win rate. It's only lost like once, right?
Yeah, 5-1, 83% win rate.
Yeah. Who lost with it? They had to have been, awful at the game, right?
Let me look.
Probably like an EU team or something.
Yeah, like a European team trying to mimic our NA
Let me have a
greatness.
look. I can find it actually.
Yeah, I'd be curious if it may have been in the wild cards. 'cause I
Liquid,
feel like-
liquid.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, it was there. It was the game where the it was the game where the drow popped off. On Team Spirit.
Okay.
One of the few heroes that I think can kind of deal with Luna a little better. They had a lot of saves on Team Spirit, so that like you couldn't jump. Like Luna doesn't jump drow at all. She has no ability to jump a hero. She just kind of walks in and does damage. And so the drow was able to kind of deal with that a little better and do like as much damage, if not more damage, in the fights.
Yeah, I didn't watch this series, but they're playing against a Tidehunter with they have a Centaur, so they have to like stampede in, and then you can just counter initiation with the Tidehunter, pop the Ravage.
Yeah. I would also like to talk about Templar Assassin.
Oh yeah, this was a surprising hit. This hero was not on my radar at all going into the tournament, but it's just been so good. Like this lance build, it was something that we almost never saw prior to. I think like was it 7.29, where they changed something about the range on Cyblades. Now it's just every single game. This hero's been first phased. He's been first phased 2 times. That is unheard of for pretty much all of TA's existence. I think it's just been so surprising to me. Like I know a lot of pro teams have said that TA were going to be the most like one of the heroes of the tournament, but I just hadn't seen it that much. Neff, what are your thoughts on this TA hero?
I think it comes back to, like you said, being able to carry from the mid lane and getting like a safe laner that doesn't need to eat up as much farm in the current patch. TA plays that very well. It plays incredibly quickly. You clear out stacks really well. And that's basically how everybody has done it. They go, okay, TA's our priority. We'll try to end this game by this time. And some people it didn't end up working out so well for, like Beast Coast I want to use because I think Hector's style of gameplay, K1, he's very greedy. They ended up losing their match against Evil Geniuses trying to run that one. But other than that, it's been incredibly successful using like these like Axe in the safe lane, Drow Ranger who can complement TA by providing extra agility and that kind of thing. People just realize you don't need to play so slow with your safe lane carry. You can have TA pop off and end the game a little bit quicker in this patch, which is, I think the meta has been developed at this major in the wild card and group stage.
Yeah, the TA, it came from. It was popular in China, wasn't it?
I didn't watch too many of the Upper Division games. I saw like I don't know, some of the Aster games where they're playing it and whatnot, but that's about it. It wasn't super popular in the lower division that I was covering.
Yeah, I think the only team in NA that I saw running it was Rayla Lisa picked it in the lower division.
Yeah.
And in their game against Arkosh, where Arkosh hacked his computer and made him TP to Dire Outpost when their base was being sieged.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I have no shame. But I think it just fits in with the meta pretty well right now, where you're playing not a super hard carry from the safe lane. You want to end your game a little bit faster with your Templar Assassin.
Yeah, I've been liking to see it paired with the Dragon Knight as well. I think this is a hero that's been looking good. I've been a little unconvinced by Dragon Knight in the off lane, but I think some teams have been picking this Dragon Knight as like a carry, and just kind of having someone to stand in front of this Templar Assassin, similar to like a Wraith King, but it needs a little less farm. It's a little less greedy, and it can tank up without needing to buy as many items as well. And you can always go for this black dragon and still have insurance that you're going to do damage later on in the game.
You do have to be careful with like where you pick it up in the draft, though. Of course, if you're playing against something like Viper in the mid, I think you just like auto lose off of that.
With the
Which of
TA?
course, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, compared to like a spirit hero, you can pick it up at the start, and it's still always going to be able to do something. You can either shove in the lane when the enemies leave, or you can find kills and initiate fights. I think it's kind of all in and cheesy with this TA, but when it works, it works.
I think that's been an
I don't know,
interesting.
it's been picked 22 times in the first phase. Like, it's been picked 25 times overall. 22 of those have been first phase.
Really?
So clearly, teams just are not caring about.
All right. Every game that I've seen is picked up early. I think it's not done so well. I mean, it's got a decent win rate, but maybe I've just been watching the wrong games, man.
Maybe, but no, which is something that I really wanted to like sort of focus on, because when you think of TA, you think, this last pick cheese hero, you get a really good mid matchup and you win the game, but it almost feels like the hero's got a different identity now. Like, TA's whole thing was pick a last, and then you go for like this mid game timing, like dominate the lane, and then just push and end the game before like 35 minutes. But now it feels like this hero can go late. Like I've seen teams pick like a really greedy lineup around it and then just try and play for the late game with TA. So I think it's been really interesting, the evolution of the hero. And then the other hero that I wanted to talk about was Brood, which I think has been the hero of the tournament, even though it's only been played 9 times. I would be surprised if there are too many Brood games in the bracket stage. I think this hero is just too hard to deal with at the moment. Just takes your towers, and you can't really. They feel like there are no good counters to Brood at the moment.
Well, it felt like the hero would fall off towards the late game with when you used to play against it, right? But now, due to the way that your ultimate works, you build up your army so quickly, even in the late game. You can build so many spiders so quickly. Before, just due to the pacing of the late game, it was so hard to get yourself like a big Brood towards the end. Now, because of the rework, it scales into the late game super well, which makes it too hard to deal with. It's not like, okay, if I can survive the first 30 minutes against Brood, suddenly it's not really a threat anymore. It's not true at all, which makes it super scary.
Well, it's also that like it used to be you would play a mid. I mean, as far like if going through the history of Broodmother, when I first started playing Dota, like around like 2012, 2013, exclusively off lane. Mid was like that was not the place that hero goes. And then it around like 2015, 2016, that was just like you couldn't play Brood off lane anymore. It was just like you're only playing Brood mid lane. And I'm glad to see that the hero has returned to the off lane. Hopefully they nerf it a little bit so it can still. I would like to still see it still be like kind of not a cheese pick, but something that's viable all the time. But yeah, that hero is just like it's crazy. Ice made that hero look absolutely overpowered.
Oh god, yeah.
And that was a game where they first faced. I think it was their first pick, and that was something I wanted to mention. Is this tournament? I've seen a lot of teams first pick cores, and then basically just use the second phase bans to give their cores a good game, which is I think is really interesting because it makes it so that they can they can pick their lanes for their cores in a way that teams haven't really been able to do in the past, where it's kind of like you pick your supports first, and then you try to pick a core that fits with that, where the core is like a more important role to begin with. So you should be playing around the core a little more. Now you're seeing pick the core first, and then you can get a support, even if it's not the best support in the game. It's still going to secure your core a decent game, which I think I'm sure some teams have rolled with it, but it seems like a lot of teams are starting to really roll with that idea in the draft.
Oh, you mean like the I forget the pick number, but your 4th pick overall in the game, you grab a core hero, then you use your next 3 bans to try to get rid of every single counter.
Yeah. I've seen so many teams do that now.
Yeah. I'd say it's pretty normal now. There's some heroes that are better at dealing with that than others. Like that's where you want to grab a Morphling, the ban out all the Morphling counters. But there's some people who don't deal with that very well at all because too many counters exist. Like you want to pick up a Drow Ranger. There's too many heroes with jump abilities that can get on top of Drow. So Drow you want to pick towards the end of the draft rather than that 4th pick.
I feel like part of it has been the rune changes. So like you can pick up your mid first phase now. And you don't really have to worry that much about counters because bodying someone in mid doesn't really exist anymore because you have if you have like a bowl hero, you go water in 2 minutes, boundary in 3 minutes, water in 4 minutes, and suddenly all this harass the opponent mid laner has been doing to you because they've got a favorable matchup, it's just gone. So I feel like teams are more inclined to pick a mid hero that they fear might get banned out in second phase. In first phase, you know that you're not really going to get countered that hard, and even if you do, it's still playable. And then obviously you have those 3 bans afterwards that you can protect it with. I think there's a number of factors that are sort of leaning into this change in drafting philosophy, and I think it's really interesting to see.
Okay, so Neff, I have a question. I'm
Okay.
bad. I'm bad at Dota.
Go on.
Let's say,
Raiden.
I've been watching Pro Dota for a long time though. And this Phoenix hero is a hero that in whether it be qualifiers or whether it be regional leagues, just it doesn't really seem to show up in those leagues that much. And then as soon as you get to a LAN, this hero is in every game. Just about every game. And sometimes it's not good. Like sometimes it shows up with like a 48% win rate across the board. This tournament's a little different. It has a 68% win rate. But what is it about Phoenix that makes it, no matter what, this hero on land, just for some reason, it shows up?
All right, I need to pull up the exact numbers here, so I'm not like completely talking out of my ass. But I'm pretty sure this year was picked up so consistently when I was doing Perfect World League,
Okay.
and Perfect World DPC in China. I think it's just a super popular Chinese region hero. They tend to have like their own meta that exists over there. Like before Centaur got buffed in the most recent patch, it was still pretty consistently picked up in China because it was like a counter to the Phoenix, and Phoenix was super popular over there. Once Centaur was, buffed in the more recent patch, everyone was picking it. But I think it's like a staple of the Chinese region for these team fights and everything like that. And then people start copying what the Chinese region is doing once the major rolls around. Again, I don't have like numbers prepared to back up my statement right now, but I'm pretty sure the hero is just like always popular in China and is always remembered over there. And then when the Chinese teams start busting it out, people are like, "Oh yeah, Phoenix. We can deal with that by picking Storm Spirit 5 times in a row." I'm sure. Smile.
Yeah, it reminds me of there was an anecdote. I think Fly was talking about it where in NA, since like EG is looked at as like the best team consistently, whatever they start picking, the other teams are just going to start copying.
Yep.
And I remember Fly was talking about he didn't think it was last regionals. He didn't think Storm Spirit was that good of a hero, but Abed was really, really, really good on Storm Spirit. And then all these other teams in NA started picking Storm Spirit, and they just like got bodied completely because they couldn't like. The only reason they were winning with Storm Spirit is because Abed was a god tier Storm Spirit. So yeah, I think you see that a little bit at the majors. You saw it with the 4 position gyrocopter at the last major. China made it look pretty good. Some other regions played it. It still looked okay, but it wasn't nearly as dominant. So yeah, it's always interesting to see stuff like that come out.
Yeah, here I am, just like frantically scrolling through trying to find these matches. But yeah, it was picked up 10 times in China, and in Upper Division North America, it was picked up 4 times with a 0% win rate. So it's just like more successful in China, and then the Chinese teams do super well, and people are like, "Oh yeah, Phoenix, we can make that work if we do it like this." And I think that's why it starts to show up at LAN again. Just like Earthshaker. Earthshaker always shows up at LAN again.
Yeah.
Just because stuns
I was gonna
are
say
good.
it's like these TI heroes, right? Every single TI, no matter what the meta is, you always have these heroes just they just sort of appear. They may have been terrible all year long. Earthshaker is a really good example, and I think it's just like ease of execution. Like right, we know how to play around Shaker. You've got Echo Slam, offers a pretty reliable stun. Same thing with Phoenix. You have the egg, all of it, so the spell's pretty useful. You don't really need to devise a specific game plan to play around drafting an Earthshaker or a Phoenix. So I think when Lands and TI come around, these sort of heroes that you can sort of fall back on become really popular. And I think we see that again and again.
Speaking of, Earthshaker hasn't been picked up at all yet, but it'll show up in the playoffs. It always does.
I'm sure.
It always does.
One hero I've been surprised about. It's the 19th most picked hero right now. Is Lena. I am super underwhelmed by this hero mid. I think Sumail picked it twice, and both games got like just destroyed. I had a guy in my pub play it last night as 4, and then just tried to split push bottom racks because he saw like Sumail playing it, I guess, and he was like, this'll work. I can carry from position 4.
The classic
I understood
watches
that.
a single pro game and looks at it and goes, I want that to happen in my games. And starts trying to do it, falls apart. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been super underwhelmed. I think there was one team. I'm trying to think. It was a Chinese team that played at mid. And made it look really, really good. I'm trying to see if I can find the match that was. It may have been this VG versus Beast. No, there was a Storm Spirit in there. It wasn't that one.
I know I know you're kind of underwhelmed with this, Lena, but I really like the physical damage build, like going like a Daedalus, and then you get one stun on somebody and they're just dead. Like I think that's been pretty impressive, for me at least. I know maybe you have different thoughts on the hero.
Oh, I remember. Okay, so the game where it looked good was the Ame Axe game.
Yeah.
I think it looked good in that game because you had Ame. Like, I think the hero could be good in that situation where you have this like frontliner position 1 that just kind of takes up so much space that the Lena is able to get like multiple spells off in a fight, like get her entire kit out like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, you have to get
Yeah, I
past
think-
the axe and the call, or him counter initiating when you jump on the Lena. In order to deal with the Lena, you have to deal with the axe.
Yeah.
I think there was an interesting point about the game. I know, Nev, I think you were watching it on stream earlier, and it was nothing to say who was on Lena, had a BKB, and anytime he would see an enemy hero, or like even an illusion, he would just pop the BKB. And I think that's really interesting how sort of maybe the BKB might be evolving, because now it's 9 seconds to 6 seconds. It's not that much of a big deal if you just get down to 6 seconds. It's still a pretty decent duration. And he sort of recognized in that game, right? If I get jumped, pretty much that's they want to jump me, right? I'm the Lena. I'm doing most of the damage. And then once they kill the Lena, probably pretty advantageous fight. So kind of an interesting thing. Again, I've been really impressed with. Nothing to say. So anything that he does, I'm probably gonna even if it was like a misclick, I'm just gonna say, oh, he did that on purpose,
Yeah.
Yeah,
feel you.
I remember watching that game and seeing that BKB pop, and I was like, "Oh, EG's got this, no problem." Like PSG, they're scared. They don't know what to do.
It turns out they do exactly what to do.
It turns out I'm the asshole, and they got bodied because they had. I want to see. I'm gonna look at the stats of Wraith King because Wraith King. I was expecting to do quite a bit better, but I don't think he's been picked up much at all.
I think it's people have been playing too fast for the Wraith King to deal with now, because it's like you said, they've been playing like these carries from the mid lane and then a faster position 1.
Yeah, I did see. The only time I really saw it successful was I think Matumba Man may have picked it a couple times in the wild cards, and he went for this like super quick Desolator, like the fighting build basically. But like completely skipped Midas or any kind of farming item. Just went straight for it. Yeah, is there any other picks you wanna point out?
I don't think so. Maybe it's worth going through our other prop bets before we wrap this one up, because I think we're approaching around the hour and a half mark at this point.
Yeah. I was looking to,
because we did make some other ones like techies. We thought there was gonna be a techies pick. Not yet been a techies pick. And I'll be honest, I don't think there will be. I think the group stage was probably where we were going to see it if we did see it. I think maybe we fell into the trap of seeing a lot of people picking it in lower division, because I'm not sure it's had that much success in upper division games. But yeah.
Yeah, most of the teams who picked it in lower
like
division are like these specialist pub star guys.
Yeah, like I was hoping for Jinkyu to play.
Yeah,
Jinkyu's
still
a
in
very
it,
good
but
techie.
maybe he won't
I don't
do
think
it
they'll-
for these, upcoming games that are,
Yeah,
pretty
they're pretty
intense.
important games.
Yeah.
And then the other two prop bets we had were, will there be a mega creep comeback? I think you said yes, Beats. I said no because of, or maybe no. Sorry. So we had length of longest game. I said 60 to 69 minutes. You said I think 70 to 79 minutes. So far, I do not think we've had a game over 70 minutes.
No, I
If
think
I'm
you're
correct
right.
in that. Because tier 5 neutral items are insane.
Yeah.
That's my thesis on that one. What do you think about that one, Neff? Like, games going over 70 minutes, do you think it's very likely?
Uh, no, I think the tier 5 neutral items, like the discrepancy between what happens if you get good items on one team and bad on the other, you just win or
Yeah,
lose at that point.
Hmm.
Or if one team is locked inside their base when tier 5 neutral items come out, one team has them and the other doesn't, the game just ends. So I think that closes out things too quickly.
Mhm.
They're made to end games, and I think I don't really like neutral items for that reason. I think that they're kind of bullshit because it's like a roll of the dice whether you win or lose in
Yeah,
some scenarios. But I don't think we'll see over 70 minutes for that reason.
I would agree. All right. Is there anything else before we end the podcast?
I kind of just on that topic. I'm curious because Neff, I'm sure you watched EG versus Quincy Crew game 2, that like super intense game where the toss buyback happened.
Yes.
But before that game, before that moment, that looked like a game that could have gone for an insanely long time, where you had this weird situation, and I haven't seen it at a single game at this event yet, where both teams looked like completely even across the board. They were both controlling about the same amount of the map. I think Quincy Crew may have been a little more aggressive on the map. They may have been controlling like Radiant Triangle at that point. Um, but like we have not seen a game like that, and I don't know if you have any insight as to why, or what made that game interesting. It was just something that was been on my mind as I've been watching like these teams that are supposedly the best in the world go up against each other. The games have always seemed pretty dominant.
Sorry, there was the toss game. That was
Yeah,
what, game three? Game
yeah.
three?
It was game three. Both teams had like divine rapiers on both sides.
Yeah, I'm bringing my memory. I think
Wasn't it game?
part
Wasn't it game two?
It was game
was
two.
it
Yeah,
game.
it was game two.
It's game
Oh,
two,
sorry,
and then
yeah,
yeah,
game
Quincy
two.
won.
You're right. I was pulling it up to remember the heroes, like bring my memory from that one. 51-minute game. Yeah, the toss avalanche. He didn't actually pick up the rapier right away when he respawned. It was sitting on
Yeah.
the ground for a little while in that one. I remember somebody said like, yeah, he picked it up right away, and that's why they won the team fight. So it was actually a misplay in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Um, I think part of the reason why is because people are playing a little bit faster at the moment. Medusa's fallen off a little bit because of how they rework the talents. And right now people are trying to do the carry from the mid lane, play a little bit faster tempo with like a hero that doesn't farm as much in the safe lane. And because of that, you don't see as much of these stalemates. People are playing so much quicker in the major, trying to end the game, like cut each other's throats faster. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because of that, I feel like
I'm curious. Do you think we'll see a Medusa mid lane at all, or do you think that's just dead?
I think that's just dead.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't play fast enough. You're like level 20 before you have that super good talent.
Yeah.
I think Spirit Heroes will come back once we actually start the playoffs here. I think Quincy Crew will probably bring them back into popularity.
Yeah, I would be very surprised. His Void Spirit's been picked like what 6 times we said. Like I'd be very surprised if we did not see more Void Spirit at least because I don't think it's been banned all that much if at all. I don't have the ban stats up, but yeah, still lots of opportunities for the Spirit Bros to come out. I would love to see a Ember Spirit versus Void Spirit mid lane matchup because that's always hype. One of the
Yeah.
few hype mid lane matchups with Water Runes still in the game because they
Man, I wanted to go off about that one. It feels like the mid lane is a lot lower skill than it was before because like you save up, you don't spend all of your starting gold now. You want to have your water rune at 2 minutes, so even if you get out CS super hard in lane, it doesn't swing one way or another because everyone's playing it super safe for their water runes. It makes like these heroes that spam skills a little bit better in mid lane. I think Seraphine was a bit more popular up until they reduced it to 2 bottle charges for those.
yeah.
But mid lane is definitely lower skill than it was before.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen the spirits as much because those heroes can still burst you pretty hard, and have like constant kind of like spammy harass that they can get up on you. But I think we've seen so many rotations as well mid lane, comparatively to regionals, that like I think you don't really need the gank potential on your mid lane as much in the 1v1 because someone will come and do it for you.
Yeah.
These baby mid laners these days. I think Arteezy even said it's the lowest skill lane in the meta right now.
Mm-hmm.
But he also did say that safe lane was the highest skilled.
Of course he did.
Yeah, of course he didn't. So yeah, I think that's Benji. You have any other topics you wanted to broach?
I don't think so. I'm just very excited for seeing how the rest of this match is going to shake out. Really.
Yeah, I'm excited for best of threes for sure. Neff, is
Yeah,
there
yeah,
any
yeah.
other rants you need to go on before we?
Somebody made a very interesting point to me the other day, but I think you're saying like Dyer is significantly stronger, or like a little bit stronger right now.
Mhm.
I don't know the exact stats on it. I'm just taking their word for it, and not going to sell out who it was. But because of that, we saw so many like 1-1s this major, just due to like pick priority and did a pick priority and like side priority and everything like that. I'm excited to see finally like one team going to be stronger than the other of who's going to win this best of three. We had way too many ties in the group stage and in the wild card stage. It's kind of inconclusive of who's going to be the strongest team right now because like Evil Geniuses, they went like what 1-5-1 here.
Yeah, yeah. They only won. They only 2-0'd one series. It was just 1-1s across the board.
Yeah, it's just goddamn insane if you think about it. I want to say who's stronger than who. Even PSG LGD, the 4-3-0. I
Yeah.
think we're at a really interesting place in Dota where all the teams are getting similar in skill at the highest level. Like these Chinese teams do look a little bit better, but you need the best of threes to know who's going to come out on top. So enough of this fucking best of two group stage wild card shit. Show me who's the best team. Give me these best of threes, man.
Yeah, we need the storylines to come out. And this is
Yeah.
where they can finally come out. The Anna Major will finally have the anime storylines that we've been hoping for, hopefully, with these best of threes. So yeah, before we close out, I wanted to thank Neff again for coming on and being our inaugural guest on Aegis and Cheese. Hopefully we'll be able to have him on more in the future. It was a fun episode. Thanks for tuning into our first live episode. I think it went well. I'm excited for the future of our next episode is going to be retrospective on the major. That'll be another recorded episode. We will be prepared. We will have lots of stats and fun talking points to talk about, and maybe even a special guest. I don't know though. So yeah, for us at Aegis and Cheese, I'm 4Beats, and Benjamin. You want to give a little shout out or anything?
I guess follow me on Twitter at PENJ0MIN. Neff, you want to shout out your socials?
Yeah, you can follow me at Twitter at 4Beats. Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure being here. It's four. Actually, I don't even have. That's FOURBETSS. Let's go.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Follow me on Twitter. I do great content all the time.
Yeah, and if you have any hate mail, take it to at nefsensei@gmail.com. That is my Gmail account. Yeah, so that is the Aegis and Cheese. I'll see you next time.